Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, it is Monday. I hope everybody had a fabulous weekend. Okay, so I had to mute myself. So let me know in the comments. I just want to make sure that you can hear me. I had to turn my audio, my sound off, or it would, you would hear me twice, and I would hear myself twice. So just want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. Hello, Lynette. Hi, Christina. Hi, Therese. Hi, Carolyn. Oh my gosh, I love seeing all of you guys. So we skipped, obviously, last week for Memorial Day. I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. I, of course, played golf the entire weekend. And while I know some of you guys would be like, oh my gosh, it was like a dream come true. I freaking absolutely love it. When it's gorgeous out like it is today, it's very hard for me to work. So, with that being said, I know that there's probably a lot of you that might not know me, so I'm just going to kind of introduce myself. My name is Lisa Kaye. It is not spelled how it sounds, and when you see it, just think yippee, yippee ki-yay. I've been in this realm for just about the past 20 years and have done, I feel like, just about everything in this this sphere. Now, I wouldn't say that I've mastered everything, but I've done everything. So I started back in piecing back in 1997. Started quilting on my long arm in 2004. I have taught, I have done show quilts, I'm an author, I do videos. I'm a ruler manufacturer. I had a digital business. So, I mean, there is a ton that I have done. With that being said, if any of you do this as a business, hop on over to my website, lisahkaye.com, because I am starting a long arm business building summit tomorrow. It is from 4 to 5:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's 4 days, an hour and a half each day, where we're going to come together. We're going to learn that we are worth being paid. We're going to talk about how we go about pricing, how we don't apologize for our pricing, what to do when customer issues arise. So there's a whole host of things that we will be covering in that particular summit. So hop on over. You do need to register for it. It is $79. And I think it's going to be invaluable. So whether you have a business or are starting a business, definitely check that out. There's been a lot of questions also about the Academy. I will be launching the Academy in the next 2 weeks. I'm not doing a big, huge launch, so it's just going to be by email. So if you're not on my email list, you will want to get on that list to know that when it's open. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Pebbles. Now, I love Pebbles. It took me a little while to figure out like the best way for myself to actually do them. So what I'm going to ask you guys is if you have questions about the Pebbles, I want you to put a Q in front of it and then just pop it down into the comments, and I will address all of that once I finish talking about Pebbles. Now, Pebbles are a fantastic treatment, and there's tons of different ways to actually achieve the look that you're looking for, okay? So we're just going to talk about a couple different kinds of pebbles, maybe the settings on your machine that you want to use. I'm going to point out some mistakes or some tripwires, something that you might trip over when you're actually doing pebbles, and then I'll go to all of the questions. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to change. We're going to hope for no technical snafus here. There we go. Okay, so you guys should be seeing my my paper here. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Now, when you do pebbles, you definitely do not want to be doing pebbles in really big areas. One, I think and again, personal preference, I think sometimes it's a little, it can be a little boring to look at, right? So I like to keep them in smaller areas, but your pebbles do not have to be perfect circles. I'm going to use a pen because my pencil just threw up on me pretty much. My lead fell out. All right, so when I'm doing pebbles, and let me give me just 1 second. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. If I can find where I do that. There we go. All right, maybe I won't. Where did it go? Now I can't find it. Oh, okay. Well, it was too good to be true. I don't know where it is. Okay, well, let me do it the old-fashioned way with the camera. Okay, so here we're going to do pebbles. And I like to go around, and so it's kind of more of like a figure 8 when you're doing it, right? If I need to get back over to this, I'm just going back over. My pebbles, right? Now, I don't know about you, but I tend to get a tad bit bored with doing pebbles, right? So it's just circles. Now, so what I'll end up doing is I'll go, oh boy, my ink is running out too. This is not a good day. Okay, let's try this pen and hope this has ink. So we're going to go around. Then I create a bigger one and I put just a little tail in it, and it just gives it a little bit of more visual interest. And I don't get so bored doing it. Okay. Now, oh, there it is. Now I can zoom in and out. It just appeared. We like that. Okay. So we'll get in a little closer. If at any point you cannot see what I am doing, please just let me know. Jeannie, glad to know that you survived your trip to Costco. All right. Now, when I was learning how to do pebbles, I ultimately ended up having space in between my pebbles, right? And so I had one teacher that was a big, big no-no. And the way I look at that is where the sand goes, right? So do not feel like you have to then come back in and put a tiny pebble in there. That to me is not necessary. If you'd like to do that, you certainly can, okay? So the best way to go about doing your pebbles is really, I go always back to practice, right? And you'll see mine are not the same size. Some are big, some are small. That lends interest to the quilt. If they're all exactly the same size, for me, I don't particularly like that. But that's me. Again, it's totally personal preference on what you like, right? So give me in the comments, let me know, do you guys like to do like some fun things like that in your pebbles? Or do you kind of keep them very uniformed and not vary at all from it? So let me know in the comments just so I know that you guys are there. Hi, Carol. Good evening to you too. Glad you could make it. So again, they're very simple to do, right? Now let's talk about our machines. Now everybody's machine is different. So I'm going to start with the machine that I have. I have a Bernina Q20 on a frame. So when I do my pebbles, I like to be in a manual mode. And I know that mode scares a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you this. It is so much easier to do this in the manual mode. You just have to find your speed, but once you get it, it is amazing. It is amazing. You're not fighting that stitch regulator to get those nice round pebbles, right? Now, if you're using a stitch regulator, you need to make sure that you have your stitches relatively small. So if you find that when you do your pebbles, you're getting squares or octagons or pentagons, right? It's your stitch length is way too big. Okay, so you need to back down and go to a smaller stitch length in order to get those circles. Okay, super, super important. So there was something else, and you know, I'm now 54, and so like the thoughts come in one ear and then they go right out the other ear. So there was something else I was going to tell you, and I cannot remember what it was. So, so what questions do you guys have for me? So Jeannie says, let's take a look at this. Like to variety and do what she calls pebble blobs, go around 2 to 3 times so it's more organic. And I like the look and vary the sizes and do insets. Love it, love it. Yeah, so while I don't go over my pebbles a whole lot, right, I do know that there are a lot of people that like more definition in their pebbles, so they'll go over their pebbles more times. Okay? I don't do that for a variety of reasons. One being, sometimes, you know, I'm not so good at that backtracking. And so what'll happen is my pebbles don't really look like pebbles. They start ending up looking like a little scribble. So I do once around and then around like that, right? But again, everybody is very different in how they do pebbles. So there's really no right way to do them or a wrong way. There's just your way. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as you move forward and do your pebbling. Now, let's talk about how big of a space should we do in our pebbling. And let me grab. So you'll see on this particular quilt, and I might have to adjust it a little bit so that you guys can see, right? So here is, let's zoom back out. Okay, so here I have my quilt, and this is a section in the border. So you'll see it's fairly big section, and that's one of the reasons why I did the little I don't even know what to call them, little whoop-de-doos in there. But you'll also see that here I wanted pebbles, but I didn't want it to be a whole lot of pebbles. So what I did was I knew this area and I came in and I just took an air-soluble pen and made some dots on here where I was going to put my 3 pebbles, and then I would just stipple, sand stipple my way over to the next spot, right? And then I would do my 3 pebbles and then I would move on. So that's another way that you can do pebbles versus having it just all be pebbles. I felt, for me personally, if this entire thing was pebbles, it was going to be too much. I don't mind it so much out here because I created kind of a border with them. But again, like it's all personal preference. So I always know before I load my quilts exactly what I'm doing on my quilt. And that's what I teach in the academy. So if you guys are interested, I know many of you have actually gone through the academy, which is fabulous. But for those of you that struggle with what to quilt on your tops, the academy really does help you eliminate that stand and stare method that I did for years and years and years. So, and you just don't get very far with that. So, all right, I'm going to see. So, Paula, you have a question. So, Paula's question, if using regulated stitch, how many stitches to the inch? I usually go with 14. So, 14 sounds great. And it's all going to be dependent upon actually stitching it at that size to see if it's enough, okay? And you're going to know if you went small enough if you have you know, if your circle doesn't really look like a circle. If it starts looking like that pentagon or hexagon, then that's when you need to actually make those stitches per inch a little bit smaller. So I'd say Paula 14 is a good starting point. You can back down or go forward from there. One of the things, and I don't know if all of the machines have this. I know some of the older machines don't, but we have something called it's like a cruise mode. It's BSR, I think, 1 on the Bernina, where the needle will continually go up and down even though you're in a stationary position. So you get to set the RPMs and how fast that needle goes up and down. So there's really rarely a time that I use a true stitch regulated mode. I'm always in BSR 1 where that needle is moving a little bit, right? So that helps me. I just don't fight with my stitch regulator as much. So that is what I have for you guys as far as Pebbles go. Again, just to let you know, the Business Summit starts tomorrow. You can find information on my website. The Academy will be launching in the next week or two. So if you aren't on my email list, hop on over to my website and get on that. And then if you like the things that I teach and how I teach, hop on over. You can join Tribe right now at any time, which is our monthly membership. And I'm super excited because next month we have Lady Jane Quilting. So super excited to have her with us, and she's going to be teaching a couple different things. And if you aren't familiar with her, just go to the Facebook search place and put Lady Jane Quilting in, and all of her stuff pops up, and it is awesome. So I'm going to let you all go. I'm going to get back to work on my handout for the Long Arm Business Building Summit, which starts tomorrow. And I'm working on my log cabin. So I've got to piece that together and then figure out the applique for that. So you guys have a fabulous day, and come back here and meet me back here next Monday at 1 p.m. Not quite sure what we're going to be talking about. So if you have any suggestions, just let me know. All right, you guys have a great day. Jeannie, I will see you tomorrow in the Business Summit. See you guys.